We're with American Family.
We're with American Family.
We're with American Family.
Because American Family is with us.
American Family Insurance Agents.
Live and work right in the community.
Right in the neighborhood.
So they care about us
and the neighborhood.
The service is professional.
The handling of claims is quick.
And the peace of mind is wonderful.
We're with American Family.
We're with American Family.
American Family Insurance.
All your protection.
Under one roof.
American Family Insurance.
And now back to Focus on Diversity with Troy Shaw.
And welcome back to the program. Let's continue our diversity discussion. Why now? America is once again trying to atone for slavery and its aftermath. In a nation with an insatiable need to analyze its racial past, there is now a new flow of remorse from public officials for the many wrongs of U.S. history. But this has caused many to wonder, why are public officials trying to make amends now? I'm like, well, heck, they should have made amends way back then too, and continues up to right now. Robert, and I asked you this question because, of course, you know, the U.S. has done many things against Hispanics as well. I think the public officials should. They have the platform. They should be making amends, big time.
Well, they should be, but the angry white male won't make it happen.
You had to bring him into it.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you have to face reality. I mean, the history of this country, it was built on the backs of slaves, on the theft of land from Native Americans, on the conquest of lands from other nations, Mexico. And all of this to enhance the wealth of a people today who have benefited from all those sins of the past. Even though they don't want to be blamed for the sins of the past, they still have to own up to the fact that that past has given them the luxuries and the wealth they enjoy today.
Indeed, and what I think a lot of, let me put myself in the context of a white male. Look, what about our social programs? What about the billions of dollars that the U.S. puts out every single year to atone for that? Isn't that reparations, Timothy?
Actually, they don't go far enough to assist or help in atoning for anything, because they have perpetuated poverty and oppression in our society today. I think the issues that Robert enumerated, the stealing of land, the free labor, can only be atoned not by some plaque, not by some monument, not by some declaration by a mayor in some city or some statement by some Senate body or legislator, but by some real fundamental wealth transfer. Not a social program that is run by some crony's brother-in-law who's making six figures, upwards of $250,000 to manage a gigantic government social program, and none of the funds actually ever get down to the end user.
You just ran a chill through every white man's spine in America. I tell you, I gotta ask you. I got to ask you, Karen, because of course women have been discriminated against for years as well. This is something that very profound what Timothy and Robert said. Do you feel as if there should be any reparations granted to white women based on the multitude of things that have happened to them? I mean, based on the story, what do you think?
No.
No.
And I'll tell you why. I mean, I'm sitting with three very distinguished people who have made their way in life based on their forward thinking. I don't live in the past. There are things in my life I would change, I would do differently. There are probably things in my ancestors' lives that they would change. But the reality is you got to look forward. You got to go forward. And you certainly respect the history. And I've never met a person yet who said that was a right thing to do at that moment in time. I've never run into even people who are controversial say that was a right thing to do. No one's ever said it's a right thing to do. I kind of agree with what Tim's saying, though. We need to empower people, and the way that happens is I respect you and you respect me, and that's all I've ever wanted.
But Timothy said power transfer. Okay, we're talking about transferring wealth. Actually, right. Wealth transfer, he said.
Wealth transfers when you say, I trust you. And I think you can lead this charge. Or I want to do business with you, Troy. I want to partner with you. Robert, I believe in what you're saying earlier about how Milwaukee needs to grow, what they need to invest in. I believe in that. What makes us different in that? That I'm an old white broad. You know, I mean, it doesn't make any difference.
This is what makes us different, right here. This is what, and you know, I don't want this to make us different. But
I don't understand.
We have more Carols out there. The problem is that, and I agree with you, and I understand what you're saying. But we have a history here in Milwaukee over the last 3 decades of none of what you're saying really transferring to the most vital part of the city, and that is the central city, where the majority of the people who are most affected by economic apartheid continue to be negatively impacted by individuals who just don't think like you.
And part of that, I'm sorry, Tim, part of that.
I agree with what you're saying. We are all individuals, and there needs to be some advanced thinking in terms of what we do now in healing us as a community. And I don't necessarily agree with Robert that in order to heat the central city, we pour dumps and loads and loads of money into barrels and light it on fire. I don't agree with that approach either.
No, you're misinterpreting.
We have to go to a break, ladies and gentlemen. We have to go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to get Karen's response. Stay with Focus on Diversity. We'll be right back.
Esperanza Unida means United Hope, and by donating your used vehicle, you can provide hope to someone in need. Esperanza utilizes your used vehicle in the effort of teaching auto repair. It then sells these used vehicles at affordable prices to low-income individuals from the community, providing access to reliable, affordable transportation. The revenue from these sales also helps to pay for job skills training and job placement services. So donate your used vehicle and give hope to someone in need.